Welcome back to another episode of Dogs on the Couch. Where everybody's allowed to have an opinion. It does not matter if you played the game you are watching. So you're allowed to have an opinion as well. Let's hurry up and get into it. I've been a little delayed on the videos, but I still been keeping up, with the games and everything that's been, with everything that's been going on. I kind of wanted to let the Shedeur discourse, take place a bit more, you know what I'm saying? Kind of see what people are saying, where they're standing, etc. So that then I can, be able to hop on and deliver what I have. I'll have a separate video later. I'm just, I'm gonna wait to the end of the year as far as like breaking down the whole entire Shedeur thing. And as far as just like how I felt like he played over the time and, the basically the overall evaluation or whatever would happen. But as far as for right now, what I want to discuss is this is what Shedeur Sanders has to stop doing immediately. He has to stop this. He has got to stop turning the ball over. He has got to stop turning the football over. He's got to stop it. And respectfully, I don't mean, the pass that you throw and it hit the guy in the hands. You would throw a pass and hit Jerry Jeudy in the hands, or sometimes it'll hit Jerry Jeudy dead in the chest, and then somehow it gets intercepted. I'm not talking about those kinds of, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those turnovers. Because essentially those aren't really on you. So I'm not talking about those interceptions. I'm not talking about those turnovers. I'm talking about the ones where, first, for starters, it seems like you have a tendency to sometimes throw a lazy ball, like deliver a lazy throw sometimes when we're running screenplays. And then, because it's happened a few too many times. Now, don't get me wrong, Baker used to get a lot of, and he probably still do something. Well, it ain't as much as he used to. But Baker used to get a lot of balls tipped at the line of scrimmage as well in the Stefanski offense. Baker used to have a lot of tip passes too. You know what I'm saying? So clearly that's something that can be worked on, fixed, figured out, all that old kind of thing. So, again, for me, it just seems like the issue is really easy to clean up. It just seems like you're kind of lazy with the throws. When you got to keep in mind these defensive end and defensive tackles that you're going up against, these ain't the ones that was playing, in the Pac-12 or whatever, wherever Colorado is at now. Them not them guys. These are the best in the world. That's what's in the NFL. So these D tackles, these D ends, these pass rushers, they're the best in the world. And what they taught is when they're rushing back there to you, especially if it appears to be a screenplay that's developing, what they taught is if they can't get to you, put their hands up like this, especially when they see you throwing the ball. So they can try to tip the ball. It's literally what they're taught to do. So when you kind of give this lazy, half-hearted, toss, float the ball on these screen passes and they get tipped and intercepted, it's like that is just demoralizing to the team. I mean, absolutely demoralizing because it's an easy play that doesn't have to go that way. Either be a little bit more decisive with the throw, put a little bit more on the throw, so that way it's not in the air so long, or maybe if it gets tipped with a higher velocity, and maybe it's not just, floating up in the air so long for grabs. Another solution would be experiment with some different arm angles. Try to move Lamar Jackson he's developed being good with delivering the ball with the different arm angles. Try some different arm angles out to be able to get the ball to that, to the player for the screen, man. Work on some different arm angles. And then just, be repetitive with that. Make sure you keep using different arm angles every time you go to throw one of these screen passes to try to throw the defenders off. Because at this point, that's something that's probably on tape and that they're looking for. Like, hey, if you get the pressure, if you just get your hands up, if he throwing a screen pass, chances are you can tip it and we finna get an interception. We don't need that to be on your scouting report. That's all I'm simply saying as far as that's concerned. The other one is, the high fluttering up for grab, throwing it to nowhere footballs that sometimes you have a tendency to do. Now, the one that was in the Steelers game this past Sunday, a couple days ago, I do want to point out Jerry Jeudy was throwing his hand up and calling for the ball, calling for the football. Now, respectfully, what I know as a wide receiver, two things. If I'm calling for the ball, it's two things about to happen. If I done call for the ball and if my quarterback is throwing me the ball, because see, when I'm calling for the ball like this, a lot of times when you calling for the ball, the play wasn't designed to go to you. But I'm calling for the ball like I got something. That's the only reason you should be calling for the ball. It's like if you feel like you open and you got something, then I'm throwing my hand up and calling for the ball. So Jerry Jeudy does do that. I mean, if you ask me, it shows, confidence in his teammates. It shows that, him and Jerry Jeudy, whatever, the blow up that they had on the sideline, whatever it is, whatever that was, that hasn't affected, their relationship to the point where Shedeur doesn't trust them to throw him the ball or anything like that. Or, just the fact that Jerry Jeudy drops a lot of passes, that kind of hasn't wavered Shedeur's confidence in throwing the ball to him. So I do think that, him actually throwing the ball there, if there was any good that came out of it, that it just kind of shows that, he trusts his teammates, regardless of anything that may have happened between them or what's in the headlines or anything of that, to that effect. Clearly, he seems to trust in and believe in all of his teammates. However, it's a terrible decision. Horrible decision. Horrible decision. Jerry Jeudy just would have had to been mad at you. He just would have had to been yelling at you on the sideline again, and you could have just told him, hey, bro, I couldn't risk throwing an interception right there. I couldn't risk doing that and then turning the ball over. I just didn't see it. I'm sorry. I didn't feel, you know what I mean? And I'm just trying to best I can to play as much clean football as possible for all of us. You know what I'm saying? For all of us, because we trying to win. So I'm trying best I can to play clean football. He would have just had to been upset with me because as the wide receiver, again, two things. Either number one, I'm finna catch the ball. I'm finna catch the ball and threw my hand up like this and the QB throws him. Oh, I'm about to catch the ball. And if by chance I don't, or I can't, I'm for sure not about to let the DB catch the ball. Especially not when I'm right here with you. It's a different if the air throw is like way over my head and then the guy's back there and he catches it. But if I'm right here by you, if I'm right here by the defensive back, and we right here by each other for this 50-50 ball that just got threw up, just floated up in the air like that, respectfully, I'm finna make sure you don't. If I don't catch it, I'll be darned if you think I'm gonna let you catch the ball and I didn't catch. Man, I'm not about to die. I'm not about to fly. I'm for sure not about to let you catch the ball. When Jerry Jeudy didn't, if you ask me, didn't fight hard enough to make sure that the DB didn't catch the ball. I feel like if you throwing your hand up for the ball like this and then the quarterback trusts you enough to throw it to you, well, if you're not going to catch it, you need to give maximum effort to try to make sure the DB don't catch the ball either. That's all I'm saying as far as that goes. Still doesn't change the fact that that is a very, 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 very poor decision and a very, 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 very poor throw by Shedeur Sanders. Poor decision. Because if you're asking me, as much as you trust in your teammates, and I want you to do that, and that's a good thing and all that, respectfully, I wouldn't have that much trust in Jerry Jeudy in a 50-50 jump in the air ball like that. Now, when Jerry Jeudy running routes and getting open, that's a different story. But I don't look at Jerry Jeudy as this big, tall, physical receiver who's going to go get the ball. Like, I don't look at him like that. I look at him like a great route runner who gets open and then usually he'll catch the ball. That's what he is. He's not this big, tall, physical receiver that's finna get out of my way. I got to get this jump ball. Like, that's not Jerry Jeudy. So respectfully, if I'm knowing my personnel, that's why I say it's a poor decision. I'm not throwing that up to Jerry Jeudy like that. He would just had to be mad at me on the sideline. And then I tell him to his face, hey, if you want me to throw a ball up like that, man, give me a little more effort. That's all. But I don't know. I'm just trying to play clean football right now, man, and not be turning the ball over and putting our team behind the 8-ball, man. That's the only thing that I'm trying to do out here. I'm trying to do that for me, and I'm trying to do that for you. You feel me? So, that's my main thing with that. I feel like that is something that has to be cleaned up immediately, because the drifting backwards in the pocket, taking 20-yard sacks, that don't really seem to exist too much anymore. The boneheaded Jason Lloyd, who, my goodness, he was being lit up on social media for the retarded take that he had, saying that, oh, by the EPA numbers, Shedeur is the worst quarterback of the century. Just, if you just look at the EPA numbers, which it is all encompassing of everything, and, it's the most encompassing stat for the quarterback. It's the EPA, and he's the worst statistically in the century. And he got a lot of backlash for saying that. If y'all remember, I've been calling Jason Lloyd out on this channel right here for the dumb stuff that he be saying. I even pointed out him saying he doesn't watch the game, like when we comparing the other quarterbacks, or any people that just like football. If you just like football, you watching football, you love the game. He comes out and admits he don't be watching the other game, like he don't watch the game. They'll be like, yeah, man, well, did you see, Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase, did you see Flacco throwing to Jamar Chase? He'd be like, I didn't watch the game. I don't know, I didn't watch it. Didn't watch it. It's like, so how is it your job to report on football? You don't even watch it. Not only that, he got it, and I'm gonna play clips of it on a separate episode that I do. Again, basically with like the end of the season, and then my evaluation of Shedeur, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to go back over a lot of the things that people like Jason Lloyd has said about him, and then, refute those things through what his play showed. Because, again, in that rant, Jason Lloyd saying stuff like, I'm hearing stuff out of the building from people in the building. He doesn't know when he's hot. He can't flip the protections. He can't make tight window throws. And in this game against the Steelers, Tony Romo, who's on the call, is literally pointing out in live time where Shedeur is changing the protection. He's like, see, right there. He's changing the protections. He's changing the protection. All right. Okay. And then we're going to get a snap here. There should be a guy coming out in the flat. Tony liked to call out. He liked to make it seem like he just a guru, like he knows the play precisely for everybody. And a lot of times, I ain't going to even lie, sometimes Romo be right. Like, down to the what route they about to run and where, you know what I'm saying? So, like, here this is a quarterback who played in the NFL at a very, very high level. I believe he knows a little bit more than you, Jason Lloyd, and apparently he knows more than you and whoever you talk to in the Browns organization. Maybe you be talking to the custodian or the janitor. I don't know. Because you won't ever say who it is. You just say, well, people in that building. Yeah, well, could be the toilet cleaner. You know what I'm saying? He's in the building because the toilets are in there. So it could be the ball boy. Who knows who you're talking to that's saying that he doesn't know how to flip the protections. And then Tony Romo called it out in live time. Yep, see, he's flipping the protection right there. He's changing the protection right there. All righty. And then he does, then he make a throw and he's like, yeah, that's high level quarterback play right there. This is coming from Tony Romo. Respectfully, I would think that Tony Romo would be able to identify what a high-level quarterback play would look like. If there was this play that happened and it's like, guy checked out of a bad play, or he changed the protections, and when he changed the protections, this is where he was supposed to go with the ball. And for the most part, like, that's a lot of what was, going on. So again, when it comes to people like Jason Lloyd, that's kind of the reason why I wanted to, be clear in this video that I made about what I feel like Shedeur needs to improve on, what should stop immediately. because it's not helping his argument, because it gives people low-hanging fruit to pick from. To just, oh, look at this touchdown interception ratio. Would you just look at that? He's terrible. Would you just look at that? It's terrible. It's bad. Look at that. It's terrible. And then last but not least, because I gotta do my. I'm gonna be right back. But I gotta do my video for my part 1 video of why Stefanski is not a good coach. But kind of to segue into that, one of the things that I do want to say about the interceptions and why, as much as I'm saying he has to stop turning the ball over, I do want to give a bit of like context when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, their quarterbacks, and interceptions. I do want to give just a little bit of context to that. So, for all of the Shedeur people who don't like Shedeur and want to talk about, and want to point specifically at the interceptions. Oh, the interceptions. Oh, interceptions. Couple things. Number one, just to be facetious, Jameis Winston threw a lot of interceptions and everybody loved him. Jameis Winston threw interception after interception after interception. Everybody loved him. So that's for starters. That's being facetious, me mentioning that. But now let me be serious about it. If we're going to talk about the interceptions, we should note this. In 2024 and 2023, the 2 previous years, the Cleveland Browns were first in the league in interceptions. They led the league in interceptions. So see, here's the thing. In 2023 and 2024, Shedeur Sanders was in college playing football. He wasn't playing football for the Cleveland Browns. So the Stefanski systems, the Stefanski offenses, or Stefanski schemes, or whatever you want to call them, they've been generating interceptions. Well, they've been generating interceptions a lot of time that he's been here. But the past 2 years, you led the league in interceptions. And that's a bunch of different quarterbacks. None of them named Shedeur Sanders, however. So my thing is this. I only bring that up to say, there may be a small correlation between Kevin Stefanski and the stuff that he likes to run and his route concepts and different things like that. Because I've pointed out a lot how he runs decoy routes with his best receivers just to throw the ball to receivers who probably would be deemed lesser than. He also runs a lot of stick routes, curl routes, and then when you run the sticks and curl routes, you usually have 2 or 3 receivers that are all within, 3 to 5 yards of one another. That can generate interceptions because you got people in each other's way. The route concepts themselves, just the way that they're drawn up, you got guys running routes right by each other. So quite naturally, the defenders are going to be right by each other. So all it takes is one small mishap, and next thing you know, boom, interception. And again, 2024, 2023, led the league in interceptions. None of those quarterbacks were Shedeur Sanders, mind you. So, at some point, it's like, I don't know, is it all Shedeur with the interceptions, or is some of it Shedeur, and then the other component is the interceptions that whatever offense we run seems to generate. Our offense that we run, whatever offense we be running up under Stefanski, it seems to generate interceptions. Because we led the league in interceptions back-to-back years before 2025 when Shedeur played. So I don't know if the interceptions are just all on Shedeur. Okay. But regardless, even with all that being said, Shedeur, you have got to stop turning the ball over. Dogs on the couch, sign off.